When you find yourself in a situation where someone you care about doesn't reciprocate your effort, the first step is to shift the focus back to yourself. This isn't an act of revenge or a move to appear uninterested. It's about prioritizing your own life, growth, and self-worth. Often we fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, waiting for their responses, their attention, or their approval. This cycle, if unchecked, can rob you of your personal power, leaving you dependent on external factors for happiness. The key to breaking free is recognizing that you are the center of your world, and it's time to reinvest that energy into your own growth. Think about the time and mental space consumed by waiting for a text or wondering why it hasn't arrived. Those moments, while seemingly small, accumulate and can dominate your thoughts. Each minute you spend worrying is a minute you could use to better yourself, to work toward your goals, or to engage in something meaningful. Reclaiming that time starts with a conscious decision to direct your energy inward rather than outward. You have passions to explore, skills to develop, and dreams to chase. The more you immerse yourself in these pursuits, the less you'll find yourself preoccupied with someone else's lack of effort. Focusing on yourself also means diving deep into understanding your own value. When you place too much emphasis on how someone else perceives you, you inadvertently diminish your own worth. You might start questioning what you did wrong, if you weren't interesting enough, or if you said the wrong thing. But none of those thoughts serve you. Instead, recognize that your worth is inherent. It isn't defined by someone's response or lack thereof. You are enough, just as you are, and no external validation should be necessary to remind you of that fact. Taking this approach doesn't mean closing yourself off emotionally. It means balancing your emotional investments. Start by identifying areas in your life that need your attention. Is there a skill you've always wanted to learn? A health goal you've been putting off? A passion project that's been sitting on the back burner? Now is the time to channel your energy into these areas. Not only does this make you feel more accomplished and fulfilled, but it also sends a strong message to the universe and to the people around you that you value yourself and your time. It's also important to recognize the power of confidence that grows when you focus on your own development. When you prioritize your goals, you naturally become more self-assured. Confidence isn't about arrogance or appearing untouchable. It's about knowing who you are and standing firmly in that identity. When you cultivate this kind of self-assurance, it changes the way others perceive you. People are drawn to individuals who are secure in themselves, who radiate purpose and joy. Ironically, by focusing on yourself, you might find that the attention you once craved starts coming your way effortlessly. Shifting your focus inward also helps you gain clarity about what truly matters to you. When you're constantly seeking someone else's attention, it's easy to lose sight of your own priorities. But when you step back and concentrate on yourself, you create space to reflect. What kind of connections do you really want in your life? What kind of people align with your values, your goals, and your energy? This clarity not only helps you make better decisions about relationships, but also ensures that you don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. Another benefit of focusing on yourself is the sense of independence it fosters. When you stop relying on external factors for happiness, you realize that you have everything you need within you. This realization is empowering. It allows you to navigate life with a sense of freedom, knowing that your joy, your peace, and your success are not tied to anyone else. You become the architect of your own life, building a foundation that is strong and unshakable. This journey of self-focus is not always easy, especially if you've been conditioned to seek external validation. It requires patience and persistence. There will be moments when you feel the urge to revert to old patterns, to check your phone, to analyze someone's actions, or to make excuses for their behavior. But each time you resist that urge and redirect your energy inward, you take another step toward reclaiming your personal power. Practical steps can help anchor this mindset. Start by setting daily intentions that revolve around your growth. For example, commit to spending an hour each day on something that fuels your passion, whether it's reading, exercising, or working on a skill. Celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. The more you acknowledge your progress, the more motivated you'll feel to keep going. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is equally important. Seek out friends, mentors, or communities that uplift and inspire you. Engage with people who value and respect you and who remind you of your worth. These connections reinforce the idea that you don't need to chase anyone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. By focusing on yourself, you're not just filling the void left by someone's lack of effort, you're transforming that void into a space for growth and fulfillment. This shift in perspective is a game changer, allowing you to step into your power and take control of your narrative. Reciprocity is a fundamental principle that governs healthy relationships. When you communicate with someone, there's an unspoken expectation that the effort will be mutual, a give and take dynamic that keeps the connection balanced and meaningful. However, when this reciprocity is absent, it creates an imbalance that often leads to frustration, confusion, and a feeling of being undervalued. Understanding the importance of reciprocity starts with recognizing that it's not just about actions, but also about respect, effort, and the willingness to nurture a relationship. When someone doesn't initiate contact, it may feel like a rejection or a lack of interest. But rather than jumping to conclusions, it's essential to analyze the situation objectively. Are you consistently the one making the effort? Are you always the first to reach out, start conversations, or suggest meeting up? If so, you're likely carrying the weight of the relationship. This doesn't mean the other person doesn't care, but it could indicate a misalignment in how each of you values or prioritizes the connection. Reciprocity isn't just about keeping score, it's about balance. In any relationship, both parties should feel equally valued and invested. When one person continually gives without receiving, it creates a dynamic where one is overextending while the other becomes complacent. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment, exhaustion, and a loss of self-worth for the person doing all the work. The absence of effort from the other side can also make you question your own worth, which is why it's crucial to set boundaries and expectations. One way to address the lack of reciprocity is by taking a step back and observing the other person's behavior. Often people get so caught up in their desire to maintain a connection that they overlook clear signs of disinterest or mismatched effort. Pay attention to how they respond when you don't initiate. Do they reach out or does the silence persist? This can be a revealing moment that shows whether their lack of effort is a temporary oversight or a deeper indication of how they value the relationship. It's also important to recognize that people express effort and interest in different ways. While one person might not text first, they might show their care through actions like remembering important details about your life, being available when you need support, or showing up when it matters most. However, if none of these signs are present, it's a clear indicator that the relationship might not be as balanced as it should be. When there's an imbalance in effort, it's not about blaming the other person, but about understanding what you're willing to accept. Some people may not even realize they're not reciprocating, especially if they're used to others taking the lead. In such cases, open and honest communication can help. Expressing your feelings doesn't have to come across as needy or demanding. It's about setting a standard for how you wish to be treated. For example, you might say, I've noticed that I'm usually the one initiating our conversations, and I'd love for us to share that effort more equally. This not only sets a boundary, but also gives the other person an opportunity to step up. However, if your efforts to address the imbalance are met with indifference or defensiveness, it's a sign that the relationship might not be serving you. While it's natural to want to hold on to connections that matter, you also need to prioritize your well-being. Allowing someone to consistently put in less effort sends a message that you're willing to settle for less than you deserve. On the other hand, choosing to step back and focus on yourself shows that you value your time, energy, and emotional health. Reciprocity is also deeply tied to self-respect. When you continue to give without receiving, it's easy to lose sight of your own needs and desires. You might start compromising your standards or ignoring red flags in an attempt to keep the relationship alive. But true connections are built on mutual respect and effort, not one-sided sacrifice. By valuing reciprocity, you're not just setting a standard for how others treat you, you're also affirming your own worth. Understanding reciprocity also helps you build stronger and healthier connections in the future. When you prioritize relationships where effort is mutual, you create a foundation of trust and respect. These connections are more likely to thrive because both parties feel valued and invested. They're not built on one person's relentless pursuit, but on a shared commitment to nurturing the bond. Finally, prioritizing reciprocity allows you to redirect your energy toward people who genuinely care about you. When you let go of relationships that lack balance, you make space for those who will meet you halfway. This shift doesn't just improve your relationships, it also improves your quality of life. You'll find yourself surrounded by people who uplift and support you rather than draining your energy or making you feel like you're not enough. Stop chasing and start attracting. This principle is transformative when applied to any area of life, especially relationships. The act of chasing implies an imbalance, a desperation, or an urgency to secure something that feels just out of reach. It places the chaser in a position of lack, constantly striving for something that often moves further away the harder they try to attain it. Attraction, on the other hand, is rooted in self-assurance and abundance. It's about embodying qualities, values, and confidence that naturally draw people and opportunities toward you without force or persuasion. When you chase, you unknowingly put yourself in a position of inferiority. You're signaling, whether consciously or subconsciously, that the other person holds more value, power, or importance in the dynamic. This perception can lead to behaviors that compromise your self-respect, like over-texting, over-apologizing, or continuously accommodating someone who isn't reciprocating. The energy of chasing often pushes people away because it feels overwhelming or unbalanced. People are inherently drawn to those who exude confidence and independence, not those who appear dependent on their attention or approval. Attracting, on the other hand, shifts the entire dynamic. It begins with focusing on yourself, your growth, your passions, and your self-worth. When you invest in becoming the best version of yourself, you cultivate an energy that is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves, who live purposefully, and who radiate positivity and confidence. Attraction doesn't require convincing anyone of your worth. It simply requires you to embody that worth fully and unapologetically. The key to attraction is authenticity. When you try too hard to impress or win someone over, you risk losing sight of who you truly are. This often leads to presenting a version of yourself that isn't sustainable or genuine. But when you stop chasing and focus on your own journey, you naturally align with people who appreciate and value you for who you are, not for what you can offer them. Authenticity isn't about perfection. It's about embracing your strengths and your flaws and knowing that you are enough just as you are. Part of the shift from chasing to attracting involves learning to let go of control. Chasing is often rooted in fear, the fear of losing someone, the fear of being alone, or the fear of rejection. This fear can drive you to cling tightly to relationships or situations that aren't meant for you. But letting go of this need to control outcomes is liberating. It allows you to trust that what is meant for you will find its way to you, and it frees you from the exhausting cycle of constant pursuit. A practical step in cultivating attraction is to focus on your passions and interests. When you pour your energy into activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, you not only enhance your own life, but also create a natural magnetism. People are drawn to those who are passionate and engaged in life. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, advancing in your career, or dedicating time to personal growth, these actions showcase your independence and self-reliance. They demonstrate that your life is full and complete with or without the attention of any particular individual. Another critical element of attraction is setting boundaries. When you chase someone, you often overlook or compromise your boundaries in an attempt to keep the connection alive. But boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. They communicate what you will and will not accept in a relationship. By setting and enforcing clear boundaries, you establish yourself as someone who values their time, energy, and emotional well-being. This, in turn, earns the respect of others and reinforces your own sense of self-worth. Confidence is at the heart of attraction. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about recognizing your intrinsic value and carrying yourself with assurance. Confidence is quiet and steady. It doesn't seek validation because it knows its own worth. When you operate from a place of confidence, you exude an energy that is irresistible. People notice how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you treat yourself, and they are naturally drawn to that energy. The process of attracting rather than chasing also involves patience. Chasing is often fueled by the need for immediate results or validation, while attraction requires trust and timing. It's about planting seeds through your actions, mindset, and energy, and allowing those seeds to grow organically. This patience doesn't mean passivity. It means actively working on yourself and your goals while trusting that the right people and opportunities will align with your path when the time is right. Another aspect of attraction is understanding your own needs and desires. When you chase, you often place the other person's needs above your own, neglecting what truly matters to you. But when you focus on attracting, you become clear about what you want in a relationship or connection. This clarity allows you to recognize and appreciate when someone aligns with your values and goals, and it also helps you walk away from situations that don't serve you. The beauty of focusing on attraction is that it creates a sense of freedom. You're no longer tied to the outcome of any single relationship or interaction because you know that your value isn't determined by someone else's response. This freedom allows you to show up authentically, to enjoy connections without pressure, and to walk away when something isn't right. It's a powerful shift that transforms not just your relationships, but also your overall outlook on life. When you make yourself less available, you create a powerful dynamic that can shift the balance of attention in any relationship. Availability is often taken for granted when it is abundant, especially if one person is always accessible, ready to respond, or willing to accommodate every need of the other. The more someone knows you are always there, the less they feel the urgency or motivation to reciprocate. By consciously choosing to limit your availability, you are not playing games, but rather reclaiming your time and energy while fostering the sense of value and mystery around yourself. Being constantly available sends an unintentional message that your time is not precious, that you have nothing else going on in your life, and that the other person's attention is the sole focus of your existence. This can inadvertently lead to a dynamic where you are undervalued or even overlooked. People are naturally drawn to what is not easily accessible. Scarcity creates value, and when you are less available, you cultivate an aura of exclusivity that can make others appreciate your presence more when they do have access to it. One of the primary reasons to limit your availability is to shift your focus back to yourself. It's easy to lose sight of your priorities when you're constantly at someone else's beck and call. Your goals, hobbies, and personal development may take a back seat, leaving you feeling drained and unfulfilled. By stepping back and investing your time in yourself, you not only improve your own life, but also become a more interesting and well-rounded person. People are attracted to those who have a sense of purpose, passion, and independence, qualities that naturally flourish when you dedicate time to your growth. Making yourself less available doesn't mean being cold or aloof. It's about finding a balance where you prioritize yourself without completely shutting others out. This balance involves learning to say no, setting boundaries, and not being immediately responsive to every text, call, or request for your time. When you're too available, you risk being perceived as overly eager or even desperate. But when you're selective about how you spend your time and with whom you project confidence and self-respect, these are qualities that naturally draw people in and make them value your presence more. Another benefit of limiting your availability is that it gives the other person space to miss you. Absence can amplify appreciation. When someone is used to having you readily available, they may not realize the significance of your presence. But when you take a step back, it creates an opportunity for them to reflect on what you bring to the table. This space can reignite their interest, curiosity, and effort to connect with you. People often don't appreciate something until it's no longer easily within reach, and this principle applies strongly in relationships. Being less available also helps you observe and assess the other person's level of interest and effort. When you stop initiating conversations or making plans, you give them the chance to take the lead. If they don't make an effort to reach out or maintain the connection, it reveals where you stand in their priorities. This information is invaluable because it allows you to decide whether the relationship is worth pursuing or whether it's time to let go and redirect your energy elsewhere. In addition to this, reducing your availability can help you cultivate a sense of mystery. When you're always accessible, there's little room for curiosity or intrigue. The other person knows they can reach you at any time, which can make the relationship feel predictable or even monotonous. But when you're less available, you introduce an element of the unknown. What are you doing? Who are you spending time with? This sense of wonder can make them more interested in you, as humans are naturally drawn to things they cannot fully understand or control. Another important aspect of limiting your availability is learning to protect your energy. Being available to everyone all the time can leave you feeling depleted and unappreciated. It's crucial to recognize that your time and attention are valuable resources that should be invested wisely. By being more selective about who you give your energy to, you ensure that you have enough left for yourself and for the people and activities that truly matter. Moreover, making yourself less available helps you break free from the need for constant validation. When you're always accessible, you may unconsciously seek reassurance or attention from others to feel valued. By stepping back, you practice self-validation and remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to how often someone contacts you or seeks your presence. This shift empowers you to approach relationships from a place of confidence and independence rather than neediness or insecurity. Limiting your availability also encourages others to step up. When you stop overextending yourself, it creates space for the other person to put in effort and show their commitment. This balance of effort is crucial for healthy relationships. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about creating a dynamic where both parties are equally invested. When you're not always readily available, the other person is more likely to take initiative, whether it's reaching out, planning time together, or expressing their feelings. When you focus on your own happiness, you reclaim a sense of control over your life. Too often, we fall into the trap of placing our happiness in the hands of others, expecting them to fulfill our emotional needs or validate our worth. This mindset creates dependency and leaves us vulnerable to disappointment when others inevitably fail to meet our expectations. By shifting your focus inward and making your happiness your responsibility, you build a foundation of strength, resilience, and fulfillment that no one else can shake. Happiness begins with understanding yourself, your values, passions, and what truly brings you joy. When you invest time in discovering these things, you create a blueprint for a life that aligns with your authentic self. Instead of chasing external validation or trying to fit into someone else's vision, you start crafting a reality that is uniquely yours. This self-awareness is liberating because it shifts the narrative from seeking approval to embracing your individuality. You no longer need someone else to affirm your worth. You become the source of your own contentment. A key aspect of focusing on your happiness is nurturing your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Self-care isn't just a buzzword, it's a crucial practice that ensures you are operating at your best. This could mean prioritizing exercise, eating nourishing foods, and getting enough rest to maintain your energy and vitality. It could also mean setting aside time for mindfulness, journaling, or therapy to process your thoughts and emotions. When you care for yourself in these ways, you not only feel better, but also project an energy that is magnetic to others. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and positivity. And these qualities naturally emerge when you prioritize your well-being. Focusing on your happiness also involves setting boundaries. When you're overly focused on pleasing others, you risk neglecting your own needs and desires. This imbalance can lead to resentment, burnout, and a diminished sense of self-worth. By learning to say no and establishing limits, you protect your time, energy, and emotional health. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away, they're about creating space for what truly matters to you. They allow you to engage in relationships and activities that align with your values and contribute to your happiness rather than detracting from it. Another powerful way to cultivate happiness is by pursuing your passions and interests. When you immerse yourself in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, you naturally become more vibrant and energized. Whether it's a creative hobby, a professional goal, or a personal project, these pursuits give your life purpose and direction. They also remind you that your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else's presence or approval. When you're passionate about what you do, you radiate an inner contentment that is incredibly attractive to others. Focusing on your happiness doesn't mean isolating yourself or ignoring your relationships. In fact, it often enhances your connections with others. When you are happy and fulfilled within yourself, you bring a sense of stability and positivity to your interactions. You're less likely to cling to others for validation or place unrealistic expectations on them. Instead, you can approach relationships from a place of abundance, offering your support, love, and companionship without losing sight of your own needs. One of the most significant benefits of prioritizing your happiness is the confidence it instills. When you know you can create joy and fulfillment for yourself, you feel empowered to navigate life's ups and downs. This confidence makes you less reliant on external circumstances or other people's actions to feel good about yourself. It allows you to weather challenges with grace and resilience because you know that your happiness isn't fragile or fleeting. It's something you've cultivated from within. Focusing on your happiness also creates a ripple effect. When you prioritize your own well-being, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your actions demonstrate the importance of self-care and authenticity, encouraging others to seek their own paths to fulfillment. This can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships because everyone involved is operating from a place of self-awareness and mutual respect. Another important aspect of prioritizing your happiness is learning to let go of what doesn't serve you. This could mean releasing toxic relationships, unproductive habits, or limiting beliefs that hold you back. When you clear these obstacles from your life, you make room for experiences and connections that align with your values and aspirations. Letting go can be challenging, but it's a necessary step in creating a life that truly fulfills you. By focusing on your happiness, you also cultivate gratitude. When you take the time to appreciate the positive aspects of your life, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. Gratitude reminds you of the things that bring you joy and helps you recognize the progress you've made on your journey. It's a simple yet powerful practice that can transform your outlook and reinforce your sense of contentment. Finally, prioritizing your happiness empowers you to take control of your narrative. You're no longer waiting for someone else to make you happy or to fix your life. You're actively creating the reality you want. This proactive approach fosters a sense of agency and purpose that can carry you through even the most challenging times. It's not about ignoring life's difficulties, but about finding ways to cultivate joy and fulfillment despite them. Detachment is one of the most liberating and transformative practices you can adopt in your life, especially when it comes to relationships. Detachment does not mean indifference or a lack of care. Rather, it is about releasing the emotional grip that situations and people can have over you. It's about acknowledging that while you may deeply value and cherish someone, your happiness and sense of self-worth are not dependent on their actions or presence. Detachment allows you to navigate life with a sense of balance and peace, even in the face of uncertainty or rejection. When you are overly attached to the outcome of a relationship or the behavior of another person, you place yourself in a vulnerable position. You may begin to tie your emotional well-being to their responses, leaving you feeling anxious, insecure, or even powerless. Detachment shifts this dynamic by encouraging you to focus on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and reactions. It's a way of taking back your power and reminding yourself that your sense of worth is not contingent on external factors. Practicing detachment starts with a shift in mindset. Instead of viewing relationships as sources of validation or fulfillment, begin to see them as opportunities to share your own completeness. This perspective helps you approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than need. When you detach, you are no longer looking to others to fill gaps within yourself. Instead, you bring your wholeness to the table, creating a healthier and more balanced connection. Detachment also helps you break free from the cycle of overthinking and overanalyzing. When you're attached, you may find yourself obsessing over every detail of a conversation, every text message, or every perceived change in behavior. This mental spiral can be exhausting and unproductive, as it often leads to conclusions based on fear or insecurity rather than reality. Detachment allows you to step back, observe the situation objectively, and respond with clarity instead of emotional reactivity. A crucial aspect of detachment is learning to let go of expectations. Expectations can be a double-edged sword in relationships. While it's natural to have hopes and desires, clinging too tightly to specific outcomes can set you up for disappointment. When you detach, you release the need for things to unfold in a particular way. You remain open to possibilities and trust that whatever happens will ultimately align with your highest good. This openness reduces the pressure on both yourself and the other person, creating a space for the relationship to evolve naturally. Detachment also fosters resilience. In life and relationships, there will inevitably be moments of disappointment, conflict, or loss. When you are overly attached, These moments can feel devastating because they challenge your sense of identity or self-worth. Detachment, however, allows you to weather these storms with greater grace and strength. It reminds you that while the actions of others may affect you, they do not define you. You remain grounded in your own sense of purpose and value, regardless of external circumstances. Another powerful benefit of detachment is that it helps you maintain your independence. In relationships, it's easy to lose sight of your individuality as you merge your life with someone else's. While closeness and intimacy are important, it's equally vital to preserve your own identity, interests, and goals. Detachment ensures that you remain true to yourself, even as you navigate the complexities of a partnership. It allows you to engage fully with another person without losing the essence of who you are. Detachment also encourages healthier communication. When you are emotionally attached, your conversations may be driven by fear, insecurity, or the need for validation. This can lead to misunderstandings, arguments, or even manipulative behavior. Detachment, on the other hand, allows you to express yourself from a place of authenticity and calm. You are not speaking to control the other person or to elicit a specific response. You are simply sharing your truth and trusting the process. This type of communication fosters trust and mutual respect, strengthening the bond between you and the other person. Practicing detachment requires mindfulness and self-awareness. It's about recognizing when your emotions are taking over and consciously choosing to step back. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, rather, it means acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. Mindfulness helps you stay present in the moment rather than getting caught up in worries about the past or future. It allows you to respond to situations with clarity and intention rather than reacting out of fear or habit. Detachment also involves embracing uncertainty. In relationships, there are no guarantees. People change, circumstances shift, and not every connection will last forever. Detachment helps you find peace in this reality by reminding you that your happiness and fulfillment are not tied to any one person or outcome. You learn to trust in the ebb and flow of life, knowing that even if one door closes, another will open. By detaching, you also create space for others to show up authentically. When you're overly attached, you may unintentionally pressure the other person to meet your expectations or conform to your desires. This can stifle their individuality and strain the relationship. Detachment, however, allows the other person the freedom to be themselves. It creates an environment where both parties can grow and thrive independently while still sharing a meaningful connection. Ultimately, detachment is an act of self-love. It's about recognizing your own worth and choosing to prioritize your peace and well-being. It's about trusting that you are complete and capable on your own, and that any relationship is simply an addition to your already rich and fulfilling life. By practicing detachment, you free yourself from the weight of unnecessary emotional burdens and open the door to deeper, more authentic connections. Respecting your time is one of the most empowering decisions you can make in your personal and professional life. Time is the most finite and irreplaceable resource you have. Every second spent is gone forever, making it crucial to ensure that how you invest your time aligns with your goals, values, and overall well-being. Many people struggle with this concept, often sacrificing their own needs and aspirations to meet the demands or expectations of others. However, when you choose to respect your time, you take control of your life and set the foundation for a more meaningful and fulfilling existence. One of the first steps in respecting your time is recognizing its value. Many people treat time casually, assuming there will always be more of it tomorrow. But this mindset can lead to procrastination, missed opportunities, and a life that feels aimless. When you truly understand the value of your time, you begin to approach your days with greater intention. Each moment becomes an opportunity to move closer to your goals, strengthen relationships, or simply enjoy the beauty of life. Respecting your time means recognizing that it is a gift, one that should not be wasted on trivial or unproductive activities. Respecting your time also requires setting priorities. Without clear priorities, it's easy to get caught up in tasks or commitments that don't serve your best interests. You may find yourself saying yes to things out of guilt, obligation, or fear of disappointing others, only to realize later these activities have taken you further away from what truly matters to you. By identifying your top priorities, whether they're related to your career, relationships, health, or personal growth, you can make more intentional choices about how to spend your time. This clarity helps you focus on what's truly important and lets you let go of distractions that don't contribute to your overall purpose. Boundaries play a critical role in respecting your time. When you don't set boundaries, you open yourself up to being overwhelmed by the demands of others. People may expect you to be available at all hours, respond immediately to their requests, or take on responsibilities that aren't yours. This can lead to frustration, burnout, and a sense of losing control over your own life. Establishing boundaries allows you to protect your time and energy. It's not about being selfish, it's about recognizing your limits and communicating them effectively. When you set boundaries, you create space for the things that truly matter, ensuring that your time is spent in ways that align with your values and goals. Another aspect of respecting your time is learning to say no. For many people, saying no is uncomfortable because it feels like rejection or conflict. However, every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you are effectively saying no to something that does. This trade-off can be costly, especially if it pulls you away from your priorities or drains your energy. Saying no is an act of self-respect that acknowledges the importance of your time and ensures that you are not overcommitting yourself. It's a way of asserting control over your life and making room for what truly matters. Time management is another essential skill when it comes to respecting your time. Without a plan, your days can easily slip away in a haze of distractions and unproductive activities. Effective time management involves setting goals, breaking them into actionable steps, and allocating time for each task. It also means being mindful of how you spend your time and adjusting your habits to minimize waste. This could involve reducing time spent on social media, delegating tasks, or using tools like calendars and to-do lists to stay organized. By managing your time effectively, you can accomplish more in less time and feel a greater sense of achievement and control. Respecting your time also involves being present in the moment. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become consumed by multitasking or constantly thinking about the next thing on your to-do list. However, this mindset can prevent you from fully enjoying the present and connecting with the people around you. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the task or experience at hand, you can make the most of your time and create deeper, more meaningful experiences. Presence allows you to savor the joys of life, even in the simplest moments, and ensures that your time is spent intentionally rather than rushing through life on autopilot. Eliminating time-wasting habits is another way to show respect for your time. These habits might include procrastination, overthinking, or engaging in activities that don't add value to your life. While it's important to allow yourself downtime for rest and relaxation, it's equally important to recognize when certain habits are hindering your progress or draining your energy. Identifying these habits and replacing them with more productive or fulfilling activities can help you make better use of your time. For example, instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone, you could read a book, exercise, or work on a passion project that brings you closer to your goals. Respecting your time also means being selective about the people you allow into your life. Some relationships are enriching and uplifting, while others can be draining and time-consuming. By surrounding yourself with people who inspire, support, and encourage you, you can create an environment that aligns with your values and helps you grow. On the other hand, distancing yourself from toxic or one-sided relationships frees up time and energy that you can redirect toward more meaningful connections and pursuits. This doesn't mean cutting people off abruptly, but rather being intentional about who you invest your time in and ensuring that your relationships are mutually beneficial. Ultimately, respecting your time is about aligning your actions with your values. It's about recognizing that your time is a reflection of your life and that how you choose to spend it shapes your future. When you respect your time, you prioritize what matters most, let go of what doesn't serve you, and create a life that feels purposeful and fulfilling. Focusing on your personal growth and development is one of the most transformative and empowering things you can do in life. When you shift your attention inward, prioritizing your goals, values, and ambitions, you unlock a wellspring of potential that not only elevates your life, but also radiates outward, influencing every interaction and relationship you have. Too often, people become consumed by external factors, seeking validation from others, worrying about what others think, or getting caught up in the expectations imposed by society. By making yourself your primary focus, you reclaim control over your life and chart a path that is authentic to your unique purpose. Personal growth starts with self-awareness. It's about taking the time to truly understand who you are, what you value, and what you want to achieve. Many people live their lives on autopilot, following routines and making decisions based on external pressures rather than internal clarity. When you focus on yourself, you begin to ask deeper questions. What drives me? What are my strengths and weaknesses? What kind of life do I want to create? These questions guide you toward a clearer vision of your future and help you make choices that align with your authentic self. Investing in your growth also means setting meaningful goals. These are not just superficial aspirations, but deeply rooted desires that reflect your values and passions. Whether it's advancing your career, improving your health, or cultivating a new skill, setting specific, measurable goals gives you a sense of direction and purpose. It allows you to wake up each day with clarity about what you're working toward and why it matters. By focusing on your goals, you create momentum that propels you forward, even in the face of challenges or setbacks. An essential part of focusing on yourself is learning to embrace your individuality. In a world that often pressures people to conform, it can be difficult to fully express who you are. But true growth comes from honoring your uniqueness and using it as a source of strength. This means embracing your quirks, passions, and dreams, even if they differ from those of others. It's about celebrating what makes you special and recognizing that your path doesn't have to look like anyone else's. When you embrace your individuality, you create a life that is uniquely yours, one that is rich with meaning and fulfillment. Focusing on yourself also involves cultivating a growth mindset. This is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and perseverance. When you adopt a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than as obstacles to fear. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more willing to take risks in pursuit of your goals. This mindset not only accelerates your personal development, but also allows you to approach life with a sense of curiosity and optimism. Another important aspect of focusing on yourself is prioritizing self-care. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Self-care allows you to recharge and maintain the energy needed to pursue your goals and navigate life's challenges. This can take many forms, from eating nutritious meals and exercising regularly to practicing mindfulness and setting aside time for hobbies you enjoy. By prioritizing self-care, you send a powerful message to yourself and others that your well-being matters and that you are worthy of care and attention. Focusing on yourself also requires you to let go of the need for external validation. Too often, people base their sense of self-worth on the opinions or approval of others. They seek recognition, praise, or acceptance, believing that these things will bring them happiness. But true fulfillment comes from within. When you focus on yourself, you learn to value your own opinion above all else. You become your own source of validation, finding confidence and satisfaction in knowing that you are living authentically and true to your values. Personal growth also involves building strong habits and routines that support your goals. Success is not about one grand gesture, but about the small, consistent actions you take every day. Whether it's waking up early to meditate, dedicating time to reading or learning, or maintaining a gratitude journal, these habits create a foundation for lasting change. By focusing on yourself, you commit to building the discipline and consistency needed to turn your aspirations into reality. Another critical element of focusing on yourself is learning to manage your energy. Not all task people or situations are worth your time and effort. By being selective about where you direct your energy, you ensure that it is spent on things that truly matter to you. This might mean saying no to commitments that don't align with your goals or stepping away from relationships that drain you. By protecting your energy, you create more space for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Focusing on yourself also involves surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. The company you keep has a profound impact on your growth and mindset. When you spend time with people who encourage you, challenge you, and believe in your potential, you are more likely to thrive. Conversely, distancing yourself from negative or toxic influences allows you to focus on building a positive and supportive environment that nurtures your growth. Finally, focusing on yourself means embracing the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. Personal growth is not a linear process, nor is it something that can be achieved overnight. It's a lifelong journey filled with ups and downs, successes and failures. By focusing on the process, you learn to appreciate the lessons and experiences that come along the way. You develop patience, resilience, and gratitude, knowing that every step you take brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself.